This is Most Julius here with YAG Radio. I have a very special guest in the building today. I have Gina with me. So first of all, before we get into the subject, I just want to get it out the way and let you introduce your platform and how people can reach out to you.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I just want to say thank you for having me on your platform, first and foremost. I know, we've been busy, so it's been a long time coming, but I'm glad to be here. Y'all can find me on YouTube at Tales from the Cult. Okay, Tales from the Cult. My platform was started when I actually left this cult, and it was my name at first, but I decided to change it because I had it as my name, but they used that to attack me. So I was like, you know what, this is too much. Let me change it to something that's closer to what my truth is, my story is. So Tales from the Cult on YouTube and Instagram. Y'all can reach me there.
Okay, appreciate that. So we're gonna get right into it. The first question I have for you, after joining the Black Hebrew Israelites, what were the first red flags that you noticed?
Um, the red flag started early on, but I kind of ignored it because I wanted to think the best. I love my people. I love my Black people. I've always grew up like pro-Black and, just really into what's going on with our people and what's, how we are right now in society. So um, I ignored a lot of red flags. It was in the very beginning when I first met up with them for the very first time in person.
Right.
I thought that I was going to a church, like, to an actual building, but they were like, no, we're going to do it here. And I think we were like in a park or some type of, no, it was like a train station, some type of bus station, train station. I can't recall exactly, it's been a minute,
Mm,
but I was like, something in me was like, this is off. You know what I mean? Because
right.
when I watched them on YouTube, I saw they were in the building.
Mm,
So I'm like, I felt like it was like false advertisement, honestly. Like, but since I was there, I said, you know what? Let me make the most of it. I like the messages that I heard up into that point.
right.
They didn't get into any deep type of crazy stuff in the beginning. So that's what I was attracted to, the Black Jesus. I've always thought Jesus was Black. That was something I believed in.
Mm,
Despite what they think everybody believes Jesus is white, and they awaken you, to this
oh
truth.
yeah.
But a lot of stuff I've already believed in before joining. So I was attracted to what they were doing already. I said
Mm,
these are Black men, look like they're doing a good job. They're not sagging or cussing or, they look presentable, it's a little different, but
right.
I stuck with them and I ignored the red flags. But in the very beginning, the very
Gotcha.
first meeting,
I mean, and that makes
yeah,
sense because the way they interpret the Bible, they read a lot of things that aren't meant to be read literally. They read them
right,
literally, and it sounds good and it sounds right. So I definitely understand that. So we're gonna get right into
right.
question number two. Is there anything that stood out to you in how they treated women and interacted with women?
In the beginning, I thought that, they were really just trying to get us in order.
Right,
I know we're all Black women, we're not under the same blanket, but it's a lot of, Black women that do, need correction. A lot of us, we grew up in fatherless homes too. So, just seeing that authority like from Black men, that was kind of like, oh, that's like my father figure, kind of they're
right,
straightening us out. So I felt like, okay, some things I understood, but then the longer I stayed in there, the more they showed how they treated women.
mm,
So when I saw how they first treated, like I seen an incident that happened here in Las Vegas. I was at the Las Vegas school. So my officer was Gabar, and my very first time, it was my very first meeting actually. It was so long. It was like more than 5 hours long. That's what got me. We watching a TV screen, but this girl, this lady, she was getting screamed at. And I'm thinking she must have did something really bad because the way that he was talking to her, it was just like, it was ruthless. Like, it was just like,
mm,
ooh, like, dang. And so I just thought in my head, she must have did something really bad, like in my head. But then the longer I stayed, the more I realized that's how they talk to people. That's how they treat people, not even just the women, but the men too. They treat them, they talk to them crazy too.
oh wow,
But they really do the women really wrong, because we can't talk, we can't do certain things. It's kind of like life before the women's rights movement. Like, they want you to sew. I actually learned how to sew fringes and border of blue and all that. So I was sewing, cooking. I've already cooked and all that, cleaning, just helping. I love to help anyway. So I didn't mind doing it for church, or what I thought was a good thing in the beginning. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into question number 3. What are your thoughts on how they interpret the Bible, how they use the Bible?
I think it's a mixture. Some things they say I've heard before, some
Mm,
things I believe, but other things it's like as if they added it in there, or
right.
they remove. It's like, to me, they were removing scriptures and putting in their own words.
Mm,
And I'm just like, something don't, but they'll say this is what this means. We're just breaking it down for you, but they completely changed the context and everything. It took me a while to realize they were doing that because
mm.
of how well they know how to deliver it.
Guys,
Like Nathaniel taught them well. Like they were in these like soldier classes. They taught them how to present things. They taught them
mm,
how to speak. A lot of men in there, they were scared to publicly speak before
right.
that. They were taught in given confidence through the group and through ranking systems and all that. So
Mm,
I think that some things were true, but then they added their own thing to it. They added their own philosophy, and they made it into their own thing. Like it had nothing to do with the Bible.
right.
What I realized later, completely out of context. Some things you heard before in the Christian church, some things is like, whoa, that's a little much. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So it got crazier the more I stayed. The longer you stay, the more they reveal to you
right.
what their philosophy and theories and stuff. So
Mm.
it got weird. It
Oh
just
yeah,
got weird.
I can imagine taking that literally. He can get barbaric messing with these guys. But all right, so that
Yeah.
leads us into question number 4. Do you consider them a hate group?
At this point I do. And the
Mm,
reason why is because of the way they treat people.
right.
Not even just they can't stand, white people. They
Mm,
they call them Esau. So
right.
I mean, all day long you got to hear that mess until it's sick to your stomach, you know what I mean?
right.
And you don't want to say nothing because you don't want to argue or, make it seem like you're challenging the leadership, but
Mm,
we just keep it to ourselves if we disagree. And that's what, the thing is, you just ignore certain
right.
things. But I feel like they are a hate group because of how they treat their members. You could be there 20 years, but as soon as you do something that's disappointing to them, or they felt that you did something wrong, it
Mm,
don't even have to be something wrong in your eyes. If they think, or if they say you did something wrong, then you did something wrong.
right.
And it was just their way or no way. So how they treated the members afterwards, how they put their business out there, just disrespected their wives, husbands, children, just after the fact,
Mm,
is what make them really a hate group in my eyes. Because it's like, we still your people, even if we're
right.
not in the group. You still got to show some respect. It wasn't no love, no respect, no apology. My bad for doing that. We're sorry for none of that. It was no humility. It's just our way, or no way. And what we say, everything we say is right.
Right. Oh,
Whatever
definitely. I
come out
see that.
our mouths, because we're gods. So
Mm,
whatever we say is just everything's right. So
right. Yeah, I definitely understand that. So that leads me into question number 5. So is the founder, excuse me, the founder of the Black Hebrew Israelites, ex New York detective? Is that true? And how do you find that out?
yes. So I didn't know none of this stuff before. How they treated me is the reason I looked into all this, found out they were a cult. I truly believe that a destructive cult, because you're not better when you come out of that group. Some groups,
Mm,
when you come out, you're better. Like AA meetings, you know what I mean? Those are considered cults to some people, but when you come out better typically. This group, you come out worse.
right.
They're gonna make sure you leave worse than when you came. So I feel like the detective, yes, he's a detective, third grade. That's the highest rank in the NYPD. I looked up all that information. Nathaniel Ray, he changed his name to a Hebrew name. Now he go by Nathaniel, I think not Ben Israel, but it's something else. Israel,
But
Nathaniel.
yeah, that's how I heard that. I remember it's
Yeah.
something like in that nature. Yeah.
Yeah, he changed his name. He was sued before by two black males
Mm,
for being wrongly arrested, wrongly accused.
oh, well.
yeah, all type of stuff. So once I found that out, I was like, I'm exposing you. You know what I mean?
Right.
You told everybody else business. You didn't did all these members this way. You did me this way. Y'all try to act like y'all so holy and righteous and perfect and
Mm.
in front of people, but behind the scenes, it's dirty.
Right.
I'm just like, y'all are woof. Y'all some good actors because y'all got this thing down. Like you got it down. And I think that that police academy, he's intelligent. He's not no fool. He is a very smart man. So he taught them well.
All
The
right.
mind
Yeah.
tricks, the mind games, the gaslighting when members trying to leave, the guilt tripping, the fear mongering, especially.
Right.
Oh, that's why a lot of people don't leave. You know what I mean? It's when they got your mind, it's really your body, everything else follow. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So they really got a spell on people, in my opinion. They really do.
Right. And that leads me into number 6. What advice would you give anyone currently involved or thinking about joining this group?
I would say look at not just IUIC videos because I don't want to tell nobody what to do. I like to let people have an informed decision. So I would say look at the good and the bad. You see all the IUIC videos, they're obviously not going to show you anything negative about them. They're so like precise with their image. Like they want to look a certain way. Like
Mhm.
that's one of the things they really like tone in on, like on us, hone in on
Mhm.
with us. Like you gotta wear your hair wrap, dress this way, just so I feel like if you are interested, look at both sides of the story. Look at
Right.
former member videos, look at my videos, look at other people, ex-member videos.
And
Look
where
at
can they
ex
go to watch your videos again?
They could go to Tales from the Cult. That is Tales from the Cult on YouTube and on Instagram. Okay. I still got my videos from when I first came out on there. Okay.
Okay.
A whole playlist. A whole playlist. So check out my videos. I go over Passover. I go over the things that they teach the
Mhm.
women and what they teach the men and just the joking around, insulting people, making them feel just less than, human. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it I go through all that. So check it out, check my videos out and other videos on YouTube.
Okay, gotcha. And all right, so this is before we ask the last question, what state, if you don't mind, did you actually join in?
I was in two states before I moved to Nevada. I was
Mhm.
in Cali. Okay, so
Okay.
that's where I'm from. So I used to actually drive 3 to 4 hours
Mhm.
to LA because there wasn't any group out there in Fresno, California, where I was. They
Mhm.
weren't out there yet. They're there
Okay.
now. They recruited people now. But before I had to travel to LA, and that's where Officer Zabit was my officer initially. And then I moved to Vegas and I was actually in a school, an actual building,
Oh,
you
gotcha.
know. So I was off the street doing the street teaching, and then I was actually inside of a building. So I was one of the first ladies out of that group, even though I was the newest to be actually in a school. And so that's where I started, like in Vegas,
All
and
right, gotcha.
physically,
All right, so
really.
the last question before we let you go, what was your biggest takeaway and your lesson learned from this experience?
Oh man, keep your family first because it's so much that I regret. Even though I feel like I wasn't in my right mind. Honestly, I feel like I got carried away with their teachings. Got carried away to the point where I didn't realize I was in a whole new religion. You know what I mean? A
Right.
whole new lifestyle. I didn't realize just what I was going through until it just got to the point where my family was like, "Are you okay?" Like they started to worry. You know what I mean? They
Mhm.
started asking questions. So I miss a lot of things. I miss my younger brother, having his first son. I miss a lot of things like because we don't celebrate birthdays or holidays. When I
Right.
was in the group, and I was in the group for about 2 years. And so when their birth, and I come from a big family, 6 of us plus my mom. And so when their birthdays came around, when the first years, like, you didn't tell me happy birthday. So it's just, you just feel bad for all the
Mhm.
stuff, that decisions you made. And I feel like family first is what my biggest lesson. And then the second thing is, um, God is in you. You know what I
Right.
mean? God is in you. You're gonna feel if it's a place where God is or not. And the red flags, the intuition, he always sends signs, messages. It's that we ignore them a lot of the time. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
would say to be aware, and at the first sign of something off, research that, look into that, do your research, be informed, because I was not informed at all. I got carried away with videos on YouTube. That's
Right.
dangerous. This is a spiritual warfare. This is real. It's not no joke. And people are not, if they want to take advantage of you, they're not going to tell you
Oh, no.
what it is. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's all I'm going to say. Um, that's the biggest lesson I learned. Keep your family first and keep God first too, because that's all you need.
Right. That's most definitely. I appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us. Maybe later we can come back and talk about something else. But I appreciate you again taking the time.
Absolutely.
This is Most Julius with YAG Radio. We got some more music, so stick around.